Let's make sure I'm live. Then we proceed. Let's make sure I'm live. Let's make sure I'm live. I sound a little low, don't I? Let's make sure I'm live. I sound a little low, don't I? Okay. Let's see if we can fix it this way. Let's make sure I'm live. I sound a little low, don't I? Okay. Let's see if we can fix it this way. All right, is it fixed? I sound a little low, don't I? Okay. Let's see if we can fix it this way. All right, is it fixed? All right, that's better. Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. It's your brother Tamayim Lab. I'm blessed, honored, and privileged enough to be doing this indoor lesson. Today's date is what? Friday. Wow, halfway through May already. Wow. Friday, May 15th, 2026. And first and foremost, before anything, man, as always, I would love to turn to the east. Well, not turn to the east right now, but first and foremost, I would love to give all praise, honor, infinite glory to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And with that being said, man, I would love to give a sincere, hearty acknowledgement unto the elect elders of the nation of Israel. And with that being said, man, I pray this lesson is edifying, exhorting, and comforting unto the elect of the nation of Israel. The 1/3, the house of David, the sincere Akim's wife is stronger and stronger, fervently laboring to obtain the heart, love, and mercy of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, via their faith and via their works whereby they have believed. That's what the Heavenly Father is dealing with on this go-around. So the Heavenly Father is about to get a victory too through the blood of the Lamb. And knowing that, that's who is the Heavenly Father's hopeful elect and do all things for man at elect's sake. So without further ado, man, I'm going to get into this indoor lesson. You know, and tomorrow I plan on tomorrow and Sunday, right? I plan on being out there on those highways and hedges, you know, kind of early, right? You know, just contingent upon me just steadily recovering, you know, feeling more normal as time progresses. So that's a good thing. I haven't had no setbacks outside of that second day. So, hey, Lord willing, you know, yeah, Lord willing, we just back to schedule, bro. Right? The spirit of today's lesson is just going into really nothing in particular, but true, just the blessing of our faith, right? Our faith, this calling, right? Having the ears to hear, the eyes to see, and the heart to know the Heavenly Father, right? Being able to wake up and smell the coffee as we get closer and closer to these times. It you know, it's going to become more and more important and hit that much harder as we get closer and closer to, you know, our deliverance, especially as we get closer and closer toward the famine of the word, right? When you're going to be able to clearly see the parallels between he, you know, that's accepted and he that's rejected. When you're able to, in live time, see the ramifications of those who serve the Heavenly Father and those who serve him not. It's going to emphasize more than ever how important, you know, the predestination, right, that the Heavenly Father had upon the elect always was, right? When you and your household are being kept, provided for, defended, and the vast majority are being delivered to the destruction, yeah, man, it'll be, we'll understand to the fullest capacity of how important, right, how much of a mercy, how much of a favor the Heavenly Father truly had on us, man, right? So the book of Psalms chapter 89, verse 15. Blessed is the people that know the joyful sound. What is that joyful sound? Ultimately, shoot, the words of the Lord, right? The words of the Lord. And that's the joyful sound. But to know them, to know that joyful sound, is to hear these sayings of the Lord, right? And to make adjustments in your life that are conducive to salvation, right? That's you knowing the joyful sound, truly knowing it, hearing and taking heed of it, right? And that sound, again, is shoot the words of the Lord, starting with what? Shoot this testimony, right? Revelation 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren. I had the testimony of Yahweh Shai, right? Worship Yahweh, worship the Heavenly Father. But the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. Who you are, why you're here, what's coming, how to be delivered out of it, right? That's that joyful sound, right? And it's joyful because, for one, what I say, for one, it's going to secure, again, you and your household deliverance, bro. Essentially, the Lord didn't want the things coming to this world for you and your household. When he's having the vast majority, right? Because pursuant to the book of 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, we're going to get it real quick. 2nd Ezra, chapter 5. Slok. 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, starting at the top. Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, the signs, which the vast majority can't see. They can't see the writing on the wall, right? That this place is, that a big transition is coming, right? And those will be the final stages before the time of Jacob's trouble. That would be the final stage before the time of Jacob's trouble is instituted. This last final stage, which could be, the stage 1, then stage 2, or it could be a full transition, right? Full technocracy. We don't know, but we understand that that America has constituted this fiat currency, right? These various comforts and conveniences that you just freely, receive and freely travel with and freely have your constitution with. That's going to be a thing of the past, bro. Right? And that's going to lead to, again, the time of mercy being took off the earth, where this devil is fully coming down with great wrath, where the famine is fully, fully set in place, for lack of better words, right? That economic collapse then fully took place. Them lights then fully went out, right? So nevertheless, as coming the tokens, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith, right? Point being that the Lord shall take a great number from off the earth, right? And the truth shall be hidden. So the vast majority are going to die. So for the Heavenly Father to essentially, like it says in the book of Isaiah 26, Isaiah 26, verse 12. O Lord Yahweh, thou wilt ordain peace for us. So yeah, I don't want that for them. I don't want that for them. So I'm when they come back into their and those particular incarnations, they will be given faith that few and far in between have. Thou wilt ordain peace for us, that has also wrought all our works in us, right? Again, going into, us being as a tale or a story to the Heavenly Father. He wrought all our works in us. All that lifestyle that was conducive to deliverance, that lifestyle that was conducive to salvation, that lifestyle that was conducive to victory over the beast through the blood of the Lamb. The Lord ordained that for you, right? Which ultimately, again, ordained peace for your household, right? And that's just one end of the totem pole. Or that's just scratching the surface on what it leads to. Because next after that is what? Next after that is what? Rulership, the kingdom of heaven. Joint heirship with Mashiach Yahweh Shai. You given that real portion, right? That real portion as a real pillar in the temple of our God. Bro, we cannot, yeah, man. So it is all from what? Knowing that joyful sound. So yeah, it's beyond a blessing. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 6. As gold in the furnace have you tried them and received them as a burnt offering, right? Because again, through you hearing the sayings of the Lord and keeping them, you're going to, though it may not feel good, you're going to show yourself worthy of the faith given you and the position ordained you from the foundation of the earth to be a joint heir. While the world throwing the kitchen sink at you, you're going to maintain your ways, right? So yeah, that's what will lead to you being accepted and required of the Heavenly Father. And the time of their visitation, the time of Jacob's trouble, the worst time in the history of mankind, right? When the Lord exalts you and raises that standard in your favor. In the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks amongst the stubble. Spiritual power. They shall judge the nations. Yes, sir. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. Right? All from what? Knowing that joyful sound. Beyond the blessing, beyond the glory, beyond some favor, bro. Right? That the Lord had for us in our households, giving us these ears to hear. Right? So going back to Psalms 89. Psalms 89, verse 15. Blessed the people that know the joyful sound. They shall walk, O Lord Yahweh, in the light of thy countenance, right, in your favor, right? But first and foremost, in this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which will attain you that favor. For the Lord loveth none but those that walketh with wisdom. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 28. In thy name, the name of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. In thy name shall they rejoice all the day, and in thy righteousness they shall be exalted. And when I just went over the particular reasons, right, we're going to be rejoicing all the day in the names of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. Right, and then again, I just went into that exaltation, right, the kingdom of heaven, joint heirship in the kingdom of heaven. So again, this favor that we have that we may not be able to fully appreciate, or the world, us including the world, may not be able to fully appreciate to the fullest capacity, right? Or fully understand the gravity of it to the fullest capacity. Hey, when that tide is turned, we will. When that tide is turned, we'll begin to, right? It's to the book of 1 John. 1 John, chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of the Heavenly Father. This is a love. This is a glory, bro. Beloved, now are we the sons of the Heavenly Father, and it does not yet appear what we shall be. Right? But we know, oh Salakia, therefore the world knoweth us not, because they knew him not. Right. So we can't be, up in arms about ultimately not receiving your flowers, because hey, Yahweh Shai ain't received their flowers. If they couldn't resonate with the source, how can they resonate with his extensions? Coming to his same spirit. They can't. So yeah, beloved, now we the sons of the Heavenly Father, and it does not yet appear what we shall be, right? That's the stumbling block. Us sitting on the ground, us being in our lowest state, us being qualified, us being confirmed, the humility that go before the honor. Yeah, it is not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Simple as that, bro. Right? So again, we cannot underestimate or find ourselves, just not remaining cognizant of this great, this abundant favor that's been shown unto us, bro. To be an Israelite man that's believing, as we get closer and closer to the family of the word, as we get in the transition, come on, bro. Come on, man. This is the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 16, verse 5. The Lord Yahweh is the portion of my inheritance and of my cup. thou maintainest my lot right. So you made sure that a specific role that you had in mind, that you gave it to me, right? This specific portion of or part in the movie, you gave it to me. One of the most favorable parts in your story, you gave it to me. The lines are fallen unto me in a pleasant place. Yeah, I have a goodly heritage to be an Israelite man, a believing Israelite man. Golly, right? So in appreciation for that, we take full advantage of the opportunity. An appreciation of this opportunity, an appreciation of this faith, an appreciation of this calling, an appreciation of this peace ordained for us in our households. We seek to take this opportunity given us to the moon, right? To the book of Psalms. Psalms 9 verse 1. I will praise thee, O Lord Yahweh. I will praise thee, O Lord Yahweh, with my whole heart. I'm head first about this opportunity. I'm head first about exalting him that showed this amount of favor to me and my household, right? I'm devoting my life and making this the focal point of my life, right? To glorify and to be an extension of him that gave me this counting me faithful, enabling me into this ministry, right? I will praise thee, O Lord Yahweh, with my whole heart. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. In the highest stage of doing so, rise on these highways and hedges. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to thy name, O thou most high. Simple as that, bro. Simple as that. And you see the vast majority of our people, they're ungrateful. The vast majority of our people, without the eyes to see, without the ears to hear, without the heart to know the Lord, they're ungrateful. And taking all again, they're taking this the stage being set for their deliverance, the stage being set for their vengeance, for them to be avenged, the stage being set for them to be restored. They're taking these various dainties and these various perks and these various what does it say? Benefits, right? And basically giving the Heavenly Father their tail to kiss. That's essentially what they done did. And our people have been good for that. Each and every time a certain amount of stability and convenience was afforded them, they always got on this type of time. And it's going to be the last time they ever play crazy. It's going to be the last time they ever play crazy, right? So the book of Hosea 13 verse 6. According to their pasture, so were they filled. They were filled and their heart was exalted, right? Start feeling yourself. Start feeling like, oh, you don't need the Lord. You don't need to fear, right? Therefore have they forgotten, as they always did, right? As they always did, not considering the fact that we're here in debt. We're here being punished. We're here given the opportunity to make things right. These various benefits and dainties that we have are simply for us to have enough to right our wrongs and make our call and election sure, and to revitalize the family business, the third temple. That's it. That's the sole purpose of us being here. Everything outside of that is extra. And because judgment is not being executed speedily, and these dainties these dainties ain't missed a beat, for lack of better words. These dainties have never been threatened, right? The supply of these comforts and conveniences ain't never been threatened, right? Our people wax fat and kick, wax proud. Revelation 12 verse 14. And to the woman, right, the nation of Israel, were given 2 wings of a great eagle. We were put to flight during the besiege of 66 and 73 AD, right, by the Romans, and fled into what? Africa. We're given 2 wings of a great eagle that she might fly into the wilderness, Africa, into her place, America, where she is nourished. So where you have your comforts, your convenience, you don't live in a war-torn country. First and foremost, we got grace in the ministry of reconciliation. The whole infrastructure for us to be reconciled has been set up. right? And that's on us, right, to right our wrongs. We begin everything needful to right our wrongs, right? And do our people do so? Absolutely positive. The unrepentant of our people, absolutely positively not, right? They wax fat. Like you, and not even considering, why would a man that has a perpetual hatred for you? Why would a man that has a perpetual hatred for you, uh, 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 even do the things that he's doing for us? When I say the things that he's doing for us, why would we even have certain comforts and certain benefits that we have if the Heavenly Father wasn't making him, right? Wasn't in full control? Why would we be allowed to, again, boldly? Here it is, like it says in the book of Revelation. Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and causes that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right. So I always give the example during the scamdemic, the Prime Minister of Haiti, the Prime Minister of Tanzania. They all got neutralized because they didn't bend the knee to the image of Baal. Right? But us, every day on these internet highways and hedges, every weekend on the real highways and hedges, we boldly stand against him that made no account of our labor. We boldly tell the devil what he's about to do and his future, being a slave, and then eradicate it. Why would this devil, right, who has on paper has every capability of taking us off the highways and hedges, why hasn't he done it yet? Why? Because the Heavenly Father's in full control. The Heavenly Father's in full control, right? But Jake ain't gonna acknowledge that until they forced to. Jacob will not acknowledge that until they're forced to. Right? And the Heavenly Father being used to bring the worst upon you. That serpent that you trusted above your God being used to bite. Right? And on this, and man, in this incarnation, that's going to be, man, that's going to be accomplished to the utmost. So the book of Hosea, staying in Hosea chapter 8, verse 1. Set the trumpet to thy mouth, he being Esau Edom, shall come as an eagle, who's synonymous with the eagle in today's day and age, the so-called white man, against the house of the Lord Yahweh. Right? And honestly, this happened a few times. You could liken this into the conquistadors, right? With the 10 tribes, right? But he gonna come as an eagle against the whole house, northern and southern kingdom, when the mercy of the Lord took off the earth this time, because they have transgressed my covenant and trespassed against my law. And again, this is going to be the Heavenly Father again doing this by way of this devil, who's merely his sword, who's merely his the rod of his anger, right? And again, what the major reservation our people have being dead to this world is basically just like Jacob in the wilderness. Right? What do I mean by that? Jake don't want to be dead to this world. Jake don't want to suffer for righteousness' sake. Jake don't want to take that L. Jake don't want to have the liberties that they had to destroy themselves and be degenerates. Jacob don't want to forsake that. Jacob still want the opportunity that they still have to have a certain amount of access in this wicked kingdom, despite this place being over and done with. Jake want that. Right? So they do that math real quick. I'm going to have to sacrifice that life I once had if I was to even consider, joining these men, for lack of better words. Right? Jake do that math real quick. Hell no. No. Right? It's in the book of, and that's a faithless mindset to have. It's in the book of Tobit. Tobit chapter 4, verse 21. And fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou hast much wealth if thou fear the Heavenly Father and depart from all sin and do that which is pleasing in his sight. Right? And again, none of the brothers out here rubbing two pennies together, right? Out here homeless, right? But your dream of being a mogul, billionaire, trillionaire, whatever vain path you might have had for your, yeah, you're gonna have to forsake that shit, right? So when Jacob hears that and hears limitations on how far they can pursue things in this world, it's basically like them guys in the wilderness, right? What was they saying? Here it is. The Lord was actively took out the premier nation of the world before them and has them on the way, currently, presently on the way to the kingdom of heaven, and they was worried about not having exactly what they wanted at that present time. Here, I'm on the way to the kingdom of heaven. Every day the Lord is actively bringing me to the kingdom of heaven, and you simply worried about not having everything that those different dainties and those different crumbs and those different liberties that you had as a slave. That's Jake's main reservation, man. So the book of Numbers, let's get that. Numbers chapter 11, verse 5. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlics, right? So Jacob ain't willing to forsake those different dainties that they had as fucking slaves or rats in the rat race, right? And again, it's not like the Heavenly Father ain't gonna sustain you, right? But you may not. Again, it's not like the Heavenly Father not gonna sustain you. But yeah, those liberties that you once had as a freaking degenerate, yeah, over with. But you're gonna have more than enough. But now our soul is dried away. There was nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes. So Jacob had enough. Jacob had enough. They was being maintained. Their feet didn't swell up. Their clothes didn't rip. They had food. They had water. They're literally, had they had listened, they were a 7-day walk away from the kingdom of heaven. But they was worried about, again, forgoing those different dainties that they had as slaves, right? So Jacob in 2026, right? Jacob in 2026, he's going to use this devil. The Heavenly Father's going to use this devil that you trust in oh so much to come down with great wrath upon you and strip you of those comforts and conveniences that you sold your soul for, right? Hosea 2 verse 9. Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness, right? Because the whole time you thought this devil was supplying you with these different comforts and conveniences, but no, it was the Heavenly Father putting the Spirit on him to do this so you could be restored, so you can right your wrongs. So since you failed to do so, guess what? He's going to have this devil as you trusted in oh so much, come down with the greatest wrath while stripping you of the chief things of life, right? And knowing Jake prior to those evil days, right? So going back to the Hosea 8 verse 2. Hosea 8 verse 1. I don't know why my nose is clogging up like this, but whatever. Set the trumpet to thy mouth. He shall come as an eagle against the house of the Lord Yahweh, because they have transgressed my covenant and trespassed against my law. Israel shall cry unto me, my God, we know thee, right? Israel has cast out the thing that is good, right? Being what? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, by and large, right? The 2/3 of our people. The enemy shall pursue him. What is the Lord saying? Yeah. So ain't no protection for you. I never knew you. Hey, so with that being said, man, I pray the lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting to the elect of the nation of Israel. And without further ado, man, as always, I would love to give all praise, honor, infinite glory into my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and Shalom, and Salaki for my stuffy nose, man.